Joining us now is South Carolina Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy. Congressman, thank you for being here with us in Washington in studio. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
I want to dive right into the topic of the moment, and that is this memo. The president said it totally vindicates him and that this Russia probe is all just a witch hunt. Is he right?
I would say this. I'm sure the president is frustrated. Adam Schiff prejudged the investigation before we interviewed the first witness. So I'm sure that instructs some of what he said. I actually don't think it has any impact on the Russia probe for this reason.
The memo has no impact on the Russia probe.
Not to me, it doesn't, and I was pretty integrally involved in the drafting of it. There is a Russia investigation without a dossier. So to the extent the memo deals with the dossier and the FISA process, the dossier has nothing to do with the meeting at Trump Tower. The dossier has nothing to do with an email sent by Cambridge Analytica. The dossier really has nothing to do with George Papadopoulos' meeting in Great Britain. It also doesn't have anything to do with obstruction of justice. So there's going to be a Russia probe even without a dossier.
And the dossier you're talking about is this collection of political opposition research put together by someone named Christopher Steele, who was a former British intelligence agent. And that is spoken about at length in this memo. And we'll get back to that in a moment. But more broadly, Speaker Ryan says that the memo that you helped put together here does not threaten the credibility of the FBI. The president has very different views and says it does. Where do you stand?
I don't think there's a bigger supporter of the FBI in Congress than me and those of us who work with them in a previous life. I have tremendous respect for the Bureau. There are 30,000 employees. Let's assume that there are 5 that engaged in conduct that we have questions about.
5.
That leaves a lot. That leaves a lot that are doing exactly what we want them to do.
Are these 5 individuals named in the memo that you helped publish?
I think 2 of them would be. People can quibble about Andy McCabe. I spent, I guess, close to 15 hours with Andy McCabe in 2 different interview sections. I found him to be a professional witness, even though I disagree with some of the decisions he made. And I think we got to get to some point in life where you can disagree with the decision-making process that someone engaged in without believing that they are corrupt or somehow part of the deep state, whatever that means.
This is the deputy director of the FBI who now is retiring.
Yes,
or being asked to leave perhaps earlier than he had planned. But when it comes to the Department of Justice and the FBI now that the president is raising questions about, these individuals were handpicked by him, and he's critical of them. Do you think that there need to be changes there?
I think the folks that he picked, Chris Wray and Rod Rosenstein, can effectuate those changes. Rod Rosenstein is a former United States attorney, and again, I have differences with the way that they discharge their responsibilities, but there's a wide gulf between me having differences from somebody and think that they should lose their job. I'm really impressed with Chris Wray. So impressed that I advocated to Chairman Nunes that he take last Sunday and show him the memo.
And that did not happen.
It did. Chris saw it. Chris got to see it Sunday, and then Monday they got to point out what they thought to be factual inaccuracies. To Chris's defense, he didn't want the memo to come out. And again, under the heading "Reasonable Minds Can Differ," I have a lot of respect for him. He's speaking up for his agency. But Congress is the one who created FISA. In fact, Congress created the FBI. So there's going to be good branch tension. It doesn't mean someone should lose their job. It doesn't mean they're corrupt. But it also doesn't mean Congress is not legitimate in asking these questions, because I think we are.
Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General that you referenced there, is also publicly disclosed in this memo as someone who helped sign off on this surveillance warrant, the FISA process that you referenced there. Do you have confidence in him? Should he keep his job?
I have confidence in him.
The president wavered on that when
I didn't
he
get
was
to pick
asked this
him.
week.
And the president, I've actually never met President Trump, never had a conversation with him, and he certainly should not ask my hiring advice. He's got smarter people around him than me. I want prosecutors who are objective, independent, and I didn't say perfect, because no one is perfect. People exercise their discretion incorrectly all the time. I've had my differences with Rod Rosenstein, and I still think that he is fully capable of